What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about a video made by PewDiePie about forced positivity here on YouTube. Say what you will about Felix, because I know all of my viewers have an opinion about the guy, but here's my opinion. I think when he talks about topics like this, he is doing a service for the entire website, the people who use it, the people who create for it. I think it's amazing that he does stuff like this, so thank you for talking about this topic, Felix. However, he's not the only person that's approached this topic. Since he made his video, Philip DeFranco and Casey Neistat and a lot of other bigger YouTubers and many more yet to come are definitely going to make videos about this topic. But I thought if anybody's going to talk about it, I think it should be me, because most people consider me to be very honest and very brutally honest to a fault about what's going on in my head and my heart. But here's the thing. I might actually be the king of forced positivity when it comes to YouTube or really anywhere else. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the videos I'm referencing, I'll give you a bit of a summary here. The general premise is that whenever you watch YouTube, especially daily vloggers and other types of people who create daily content, they edit out all of the negative stuff that they are experiencing and the things that they do to make their lives look considerably better than they actually are. And even when they are going through rough periods of their life, they tend to force a certain positivity. And this is true pretty much, I think, of every YouTuber. Sometimes you'll pretend that you enjoy a game more than you actually do because it brings in more views. You pretend you enjoy talking about a topic more. You pretend you enjoy the activity more because people like to watch people who are enjoying themselves. And the theory says that the reason that the majority of people do this is because they are afraid if they show the negative stuff going on in their head or their hearts or in their real lives, they will lose viewers, which I think is a very considerable fear. And I can also speak to the fact that if you do speak about this kind of stuff, your audience can definitely turn sour on you very, very quickly. They can say things. Basically, I can't check Reddit on a single day or Twitter on a single day without seeing somebody say, oh, I used to watch him, but I don't watch him anymore because he's manipulative and he's a whiner and he's a baby. And it's because I talk about the mental and physical issues that I'm facing every day. Some people just don't like that, and other people consider it to be manipulative and shitty and awful. And that's reasonable because some people will talk about that stuff to manipulate you. And a lot of these videos do go on to say that people who do show that forced positivity and that forced happiness are doing people a disservice because they're not showing the real ups and downs that can happen to a life, and they're setting unrealistic expectations for those people who consume that kind of media, especially for kids who wonder why their family or they themselves are not as happy as the people they watch every day. Which leads me to the first point that I want to make today. Everything you see on social media is staged bullshit. We all know that these prank videos that we watch every day are staged and they're bullshit and they're there for entertainment value. Please understand that 98% of what you see on social media is exactly the same. The videos you watch of that vlogging family, those videos are manufactured at least a little bit. Some of the experiences, some of the places, some of the things they do, and oftentimes their reactions to that stuff are obviously fabricated and manipulated and changed in some way for the vlog. That Instagram photo of that hot model that you follow, chances are that's at the very least one of a dozen or maybe 100 discarded photos until they got the very best one. And chances are it could possibly be a modeling agency that helps light them and helps it look as authentic as humanly possible for the sake of boosting that person's career. Even the tiniest, minute little post, even the smallest little tweet sometimes can be filtered because you'll consider what your followers will think before you post it, and chances are if you don't think they're going to like it, you're going to edit yourself in some way, maybe not even post the thought at all. Chances are even you, yes, you, the person who's watching this video right now, you do the exact same thing. You probably post the pictures and the comments that make you look the best on the internet or garner the type of attention that you want every single time. You probably leave out the really bad stuff. There's probably plenty of stuff you would never talk about on social media. We all do this, especially here on YouTube. I do it to a certain extent, and I will tell you why. Because when I was a kid, I was in a program called Al-Anon, which is for the kids of alcoholics. And one of the very first things that they taught me in Al-Anon is a simple phrase: fake it until you make it. Ever since I learned that little phrase, I've used it almost every single day of my life. Fake it until you make it. It was wonderful for battling depression throughout my life or my anxiety, to pretending that I'm not anxious, pretending that I am enjoying something, or pretending that I'm excited about it. And the whole thing is that sometimes if you pretend that you're not, anxious about something or you pretend that you're excited about something, sometimes you will actually be comfortable and feel comfortable on accident. Sometimes you'll accidentally enjoy the thing because you gave it a chance. And it's another great confidence builder. If you want to be something, pretend you are that something, and eventually you find the confidence to be that something. And that is a tool that I've used on YouTube every single day. When I first started, I faked the positivity so that I could hopefully get people to watch and to also enjoy myself a little bit better. And if I just put out what was really going on in my life at that period of time, my mom who's sick and dying, the fact that I was physically wrecked and unable to find work, that I was suffering from clinical depression, nobody would have wanted to watch that. But I did instead choose to be positive, and now YouTube is one of the most exciting and rewarding things that I can do. This is my favorite part of the day. It still feels like work sometimes, but it's a very rewarding and exciting work, and it genuinely makes me happy now. And yes, there are still days where the physical pain from my diseased and dying obese body is so difficult that I have to fake it quite a bit. There are times where my clinical depression creeps back up and begins to win, and I have to fake it a little bit. It's a part of just who I am. But I think what separates me from the types of YouTubers that Felix and other people are talking about is the fact that I am never afraid to talk about my clinical depression when it creeps back up. I'm never afraid to talk about this giant rotten body of mine. I'm never afraid to talk about the issues I'm having in my life. I am genuinely honest, and I try to portray myself as a well-rounded individual, pun intended. And I think my choice to do that is part of the reason I have been as successful as I have been. And I agree with the sentiment that if you have a YouTube channel based on what you and your family or your spouse do every day, or you as a personality, you're the product that you're selling. If you don't sell a well-rounded version of yourself that shows the good with the bad, I think you're doing a pretty big disservice. Not just for the people who watch you, who could learn from that stuff and be inspired by that stuff and connect with you better, but you're doing it a disservice to yourself as well, because it has been absurdly therapeutic for me. And sure, there's a handful of assholes who use that as a way to attack you, but those people are vastly outnumbered by the people who genuinely care. And that caring has gotten me through some of the darkest times of my life over the last 6 years, and I owe that to you. Because there'll always be a point in your YouTube career, especially as you become successful, where you wonder if the people who are watching actually care about you, or if they care about the product that you're creating, and which is a fake version of you. And I'll be frank, it feels really, really good going to bed every night knowing that the people who love my content and love my channel actually love me. And that's why I can say at the end of every single video I make that I love you guys. And I mean it, because I know you love me back. And that's not bullshit. That's not forced positivity. That's not a catchphrase. I genuinely know that the day I get to meet you, I'm going to love you the way that you love me. But here's the thing. Even if you do choose to share that kind of stuff, it is still very difficult to share every single aspect of your life. There's plenty of stuff that I don't share. I don't share with you every time me and my wife have an argument. I don't share with you every time my eating disorder takes over and I eat a super big meal that I'm super ashamed of. I don't tell you everything. And I think that's probably within reason. Because every time you create a video, every time you post something, you do have to ask yourself, is this entertaining? Is this informative? Is it useful? Is it inspiring? Will it help somebody? Is there a point to the thing that I'm creating? Otherwise, it's just incessant whining about first world problems, and nobody wants to watch that. None of that would be useful. But when it can be constructive, when it can be useful, when it can be inspiring, I think it is very, very important to talk about this stuff and share it. And those vloggers who choose not to do that, who instead decide to tell you to smile more, I wish they would smile a little less and help their viewers out a little bit more and connect with them on a very real level. Because the human condition sucks. We're born into this scary, crazy, violent world, and we suffer immeasurably, and doing that alone is terrible. And to be able to see a video in which one of my favorite vloggers experienced the same stuff that I'm going through and survived it, that makes me feel a hell of a lot better. It makes me feel a hell of a lot less alone, and I hope that it makes you feel a lot better and a lot less alone when I share it with you. And to play devil's advocate, I hope that when you guys see me happy, even if it's a little bit forced so that I can be happy myself, I hope that it inspires you to be happy. I hope it inspires you to know that it does get better. And it does. And then it gets a lot worse, but it gets better again. But that's just one man's opinion. I definitely could be wrong. But let me say thank you for enduring that opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And of course, thank you to the Philip DeFrancos and the Casey Neistats and the PewDiePies who've made response videos or talked about this topic originally. I love it when we talk about this stuff because this is when I think we're doing a great service for the world. I, just as much as anybody else, like making goofy, silly videos that allow people to pass the time and forget about their woes for a little while. But when we create stuff like this, I think we can really, really help people. And I think it's when the YouTube community is at its best. And I hope that you agree. Guys, thanks as always for watching. I do love you quite a bit. And I'll speak with you again soon.